Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So New York resident and January 6th convict Brandon Fellows is definitely entertaining. He just filed a request with the court. He's asking to delay his sentencing. So Fellows is already in custody, so he's not doing it for that reason. He is one of the few that's been held prior to sentencing. He was initially allowed out. He was out on bond, awaiting trial or awaiting a plea deal, but he violated his pretrial release conditions numerous times, and he tried to intimidate his pretrial services officer by contacting her mother. You guys might remember this. I've given quite a few updates about this guy. Well, Fellows is arguing that he needs to remain in jail longer because one of his convictions might be overturned by the Supreme Court. You all may remember this. At issue is the obstruction of an official proceeding charge. Fellows and others were convicted on this felony charge, which carries a maximum of 20 years in prison. Another January 6th defendant has been fighting this charge due to one lone Trump-appointed judge who said that this charge is inappropriate in these cases. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols claims that the January 6th defendants would have had to have destroyed or altered a physical document for the charge to be applicable. So it's an absurd reading of the statute, and it's a decision that no other judge has agreed with. An appeals court overturned Nichols' ruling, but a January 6th defendant named Fisher has taken this all the way to the Supreme Court, and they agreed to review this matter. So Fellows is asking the judge, delay my sentencing until after the Supreme Court makes a decision and issues a ruling. And that could happen, within the next several months. I believe it's spring that they said they're going to be taking this up. But Fellows is representing himself. He represented himself in the trial, and he's still representing himself. I mean, because, it went so well in the trial that a Trump-appointed judge convicted him on basically every count. So U.S. District Judge Trevor McFadden is presiding over this case, and Fellows wrote to him saying, quote, "Resolution of Fisher, among many other things, will directly impact the validity of my conviction on that count, as well as what sentence would, according to the guidelines, be appropriate for me. Though I'm past them already, and as mentioned, this whole ordeal was beyond ridiculous. The police and federal government set others and myself up, and you helped cover it up in the pre-trial stage as well as the trial stage." It gets even worse. Fellows goes on to say, quote, "We had and have a right to overthrow the government once Pence certified the stolen election, which, as my videos proved, was what caused people to break in. People falsely sharing he certified it." And quote, "Proceeding to sentencing in my case will potentially prejudice me should the Supreme Court resolve Fisher in my favor, especially in light of the fact that I have already served a significant period of incarceration pre-trial, despite that the government knowingly lied to make me fit the BRA, and despite that your corrupt self helped cover that up as well." Then Fellows told the judge that even though he thinks prison is pretty fun, he would prefer to remain in jail until the Fisher case is resolved. Fellows wrote, quote, "Jail is worse than prison. Less nutritional value in food, no weight rooms, no classes to take, etc. Fort Worth and Lewisburg were awesome and very fun. I also don't get to accelerate my time while here via prison programs. So, if anything, this is more quote unquote punishment, though I shouldn't be punished at all. It's also less money spent on my government funded room and board. I'm sure even you could agree the amount spent so far in this joke of a case is already ridiculous. So, just not what you want to tell a judge. You know, prison is pretty fun. But you have to keep in mind, this is a guy who was literally living in a converted school bus when he took part in the Capitol attack. He was homeless. So, yeah, I'm sure jail and prison is probably a lot better than what he was used to. So he goes on to end this request on a positive note. I'm just kidding. It was more of the same insulting, immature BS. Fellows implored the judge to, quote, take a baby step towards not continuing to rule and act like a modern-day Nazi judge. Stay the proceedings pending resolution of Fisher. Or do what you do best. Do the opposite. After all, you do what you want, not what makes sense or should be done. Like I said the other day, with some of these people, you do not have to wonder why or how they supported a tantrum-throwing narcissist and lifelong criminal like Donald Trump. It is painfully obvious. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I will let you know what the judge has to say in return. I have a feeling it's not going to go well for Fellows. I will keep you posted. Thank you all so much. Love you all. Please like this video, share it, become a subscriber if you have not. If you can donate, it helps to keep the show going. Greatly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.